Good morning, ladies. I just wanted to get a few things straight here. You know that Iran has they're allies with China, and they're allies with Russia. It's kind of a tinderbox over there. They've also got a lot of allies in the Middle East as well. There's a growing number of Muslims into Africa, and there's things heating up behind the scenes. I'm not sure we're being told the whole story. And there's threats going on back and forth. But once again, you keep hearing me talk about the Jews. And as time goes on, you're going to find out what I'm telling you is the truth. You can go back 6,000 years, for example, and you have the Jews back then actually meant they were from Judea, or they believed in the Judea religion. Now, they've always denied Jesus Christ, and they killed Jesus Christ, and they killed all the disciples. They sold Joseph into slavery. They made up a story about somebody from Benjamin's tribe raping and killing a woman, and convinced the other tribes to attack Benjamin. But Benjamin survived, with 500 people living in the caves and fighting till the very end because it wasn't true. Now, Paul, who wrote 2/3 of the New Testament, page by page account, was a Benjamite. It says so in any Bible you want to pick up. Paul claims that he is a couple of times. That mixed with the fact that Mary was a Benjamite, David was a Benjamite. People say, oh no, it says he's from Judea. But read it carefully. Just like we have a president that goes to Washington, D.C., but he's not really from Washington, D.C. He might be from Illinois, he might be from Iowa, he might be from Missouri, he might be from New Jersey, he might be from New York. But he goes to the White House to reign. It's the same thing. In those days, they went to Jerusalem to reign. But when David talked about a feast and everybody going home to their homeland for that feast, he left Jerusalem and went down to Benjamin. And Macaulay, which was, if I'm saying the name right, it's been a while since I've read it, I can pull it and give you the reference. He went back, and when he went back home, the first person he met was Saul's daughter. Saul was a Benjamite. So, like I said, back in them times, if they called you a Jew, it meant you was from Judea, or you lived by their belief system, because there's many people coming in. But he was one man out of the 12 tribes, coming from Jacob, whose name was changed to Israel by God in Genesis 35:10. And the blessings of to become kings of a great nation of milk and honey, a Newfoundland, and a company of nations. Well, I have to think long and hard about that, because seems to me like history has shown that they've been kicked out of every freaking country in the planet at least 2 or 3 times. It wasn't very well liked anywhere they went, except for the Benjamin tribe. The Benjamin tribe, as you know, wrote the New Testament. Paul writing 2/3 of it. Both Johns were Benjamites, and I know I'll get argument, but David was too, as far as bloodline. And we also have the fact that They went back and forth the borders between Judea and Benjamin. But 2 Kings chapter 17, Saul, who was the commander of all Israel, went to war against the Jews. You have to take a careful look at that, because about 2,000 years went by before we get to 2 Kings chapter 17. And that's the first place you'll find anywhere in the Bible where the word Jew is mentioned. And they're at war with Israel, the commander of Israel. So, we have a couple questions that brings up. Are the Jews really the chosen? Was they really any relatives to the lost tribes? Question number 2. It was the Jews who coined the phrase, the lost tribes. If they said that the tribes were lost, then how could it be them? Why would they say we're lost? You know? Number 2, James, in James 1, half-brother of Jesus, said that he wrote to the lost tribes. And on and on and on. You've got these little things that pop up that kind of, it doesn't say that Adam and Moses and Abraham were all Jews. It doesn't say that. Abraham traveled all over the place. I've been to all Abraham's palaces that he built, even the one over in Iraq and Egypt, the one down in West Bank. I've been to all of them. That's where the Torah is, the one in West Bank. And I've been inside of it. I've been inside where they only allow high priests in that place, and a friend of mine got me in there. I seen the Torah, I kissed the Torah. Okay? The Torah is the first 5 books of Moses. We don't call it that in our Bible, but it's the same thing. Now, the Talmud wasn't written by the Benjamin tribe. It was written by the who? Judean tribe. The one who sold Joseph into slavery, his own brother, and started that crap with Benjamin. You also have the fact that Jesus himself said to pay taxes. Give Caesar what's Caesar's. And yet every church in America decided to become part of a corporation called the 501c, tax-free. You also have the fact that Jesus said, and Jesus kicked out three or four people, probably more than that when you count the numbers, out of the church or the house of prayers. And yet you try to do that and you're in a 501c. They'll pull your 501c and you'll have to pay taxes and you'll fall behind all the other churches, which is what these churches are there for, to try to beat out one another. 129 denominations are phony. They're not anywhere close to God or what he meant, or they're not carrying his message. Now, they can sit here and give you these massive, warm and fuzzy feeling speeches all day long. You can go to a pep rally and hear that crap. Allowing gays in, allowing women to be preachers. There's nowhere in either Bible, the Judea or Christianity, or it's not there. Okay? So we can pretend and twist it and turn everything any way we want to, but there's a reason why God did it. And the 12 members, all the apostles of the New Testament, were all Benjamites. This is something you can research yourself, or you can take it from me. Number 2, you have a problem because Benjamin was accepted. even though the Judean tribe killed Christ and all the disciples. So they got Jesus Christ out to the world. So they should be standing with Benjamin, not Judea. And Orthodox Jews have it right when they say that they are not to come together until the Messiah comes back and brings them together. They're supposed to be spread out. So the whole idea that this Israel is there some kind of prophet thing going on is total bull. It's not a prophet thing going on. It's not God doing it. Because God has to come out of the clouds and he brings them together and he steps foot on the Mount of Olives. That's when the Messiah comes back. The Messiah for us is Jesus. The Messiah for them hasn't come here yet. They don't believe in Jesus. Read the Talmud. You'll find out they hate Jesus and they hate Christians, which is taught in all the synagogues and all the schools. Look through the deception. Look through the deception. The first right of world power was written by the Jews. The first supremacy was written by the Jews. Not by God, but by the Jews.